episode, we're excited to welcome EIQdigital, the leading provider of AI-powered solutions helping energy companies drive digital transformation. Thank you for joining us today. So as utilities embrace digital innovation, they also become more exposed to new types of fraud. In this episode, we'll dive into how AI is stepping in to both detect and prevent fraud, while also transforming the customer experience for the better. So we're running today's podcast a little differently. We have 3 members of the EIQdigital team with us, each offering a unique perspective. So can I ask each of you to introduce yourself and share a little about your role?
Hi, my name is Dan Sullivan. I'm the president and CEO of EIQdigital. I've been one of the founders, and as one of the founding executives, tend to be involved in pretty much all of the operations, sales, and anything else that needs being done around the company. So very nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hey, Natalie. Thank you for inviting us. My name is David Chang. I am head of our product, and everything about our product under my purview.
Hi, Natalie. Well, my name is Isadora. Very excited to be here recording this podcast for Charge today. I am a marketing manager for EIQdigital. I take care of us as a brand, as well as all B2C and customer-facing apps, product services that we provide here at EIQ.
Well, welcome everybody. So let's kick off. How are AI and data transforming the customer experience in the energy industry?
Sure. So I think it's interesting to start talking a little bit before about how the energy industry was even before AI and data, right? We like to say that it was kind of a one-size-fits-all. So everyone got shown the same plans. There was no personalization, no context. Customers could only find out about the higher bills and high bills once they received them. There was no real-time insights, no alerts, or no type of, personalization at all. I think with AI and data, that's exactly the opposite, right? It's definitely not a one-size-fits-all. Everything is tailored to the customer, to the consumer. AI and data are here to make energy easy, efficient, and of course, customer first. What does that even mean in the energy industry? I think a couple main things are, of course, nowadays with AI and data, we do have real-time usage insights. We are able to tailor plan recommendations for the user. We can help them lower their bills. We can resolve issues faster with chatbots, which, used to be calls, used to be a way longer process before. And of course, we are more proactive when everything happens. We can just go ahead and use AI to solve a lot of things faster. And with that, of course, the customer first experience, that's where it comes. The customer visibility, the customer is able to take actions. I think just one last thing we like to say the analogy of Uber, Spotify, and Amazon. What those companies do is they use data to help the user with their user experience, right? So Uber knows exactly where you are even before you ask. Spotify knows exactly what you like to listen next. Amazon tells you what you want to buy next, or what's recommended to you. In energy with AI and data, I think that's kind of where we are working towards. Besides was one size fits all, and now with AI and data, we are able to provide that personalization to the consumer, to the energy consumer.
Great. And how significant is the risk of fraud for energy companies today? Has this grown as the industry has digitalized?
That's a great question. Well, digital fraud is growing rapidly in our industry, and it actually represents what I'd call an existential threat to the viability of retail energy. I've talked to a number of our clients who are energy suppliers, energy brokers, and digital fraud is one of the top issues that they're dealing with. I've heard from some companies that as much as 50% of attempted enrollments are fraudulent. I've actually talked to a broker who was almost in tears because of the financial implications that these fraudulent enrollments was having on his business. So as you can imagine, it's having a tremendously dramatic impact on companies' cost to acquire, their customer experience, and overall customer satisfaction. And this is happening because our industry is quickly transitioning to a digital-first approach to customer acquisition. Digital enrollments are much more susceptible to highly scalable, highly organized fraud schemes than the traditional approaches that we've had as an industry of going to market, call centers, door to door, direct mail. So things are changing rapidly. The good news is the industry is evolving to much more of a digital first platforms, but with that there are growing pains, and that's why our industry is struggling to deal with some of the issues that this has caused.
50%, that is a really big number. I can imagine why the brokers in tears. So what makes the energy sector particularly vulnerable to these emerging digital threats compared to other industries?
Another great question. First of all, everyone uses energy. There's 130 million households in the country. There's 40 million in competitive retail markets. Secondly, energy is really expensive. It's one of the highest, in fact, it's probably in the top 3 monthly expenses for most households. And customers dread the process of shopping for and picking an energy plan. This creates a huge opportunity for organized criminals to entice customers into being willing participants in the various fraud schemes. And it's really not the customer's fault. In many, many cases, the customers do not even know that they're involved in some sort of a fraud scheme. There's many types of offers out there and many types of approaches that the customer is actually almost innocent in the whole process. Energy is one of the highest value products and services the customer pays for, that he pays for after it's been used. And based on monthly billing cycles, it can be as long as 3 months before an energy supplier can shut a customer off for non-payment. During 3 months in many households, it's multiple $100 electricity or energy bills. Over that period, a significant bad debt expense can arise. And this becomes a huge uncollectible bad debt expense for the retailer. So, as I mentioned earlier, this dynamic is what makes digital fraud an existential threat to our industry. We are a high dollar, low margin industry. Digital fraud has the potential of putting many companies out of business, reducing choice in competitive markets, and calling into question the viability of retail energy itself. So this is a critical factor for us as an industry, and the time is right to be dealing with it now.
And then moving on to EIQdigital's solution to this risk. How do EIQdigital AI-driven solutions help minimize these risks? Can you share some real-world examples of success stories?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is David, Chief Product Officer. We developed 2 specific products dealing, with the fraud situation, right? The first product is that specifically in ERCOT market, we are able to give an address. We are able to detect how many times has such address switch energy plan within the next 6 months, right? So if you are a normal customer, what I mean by normal is people usually sign up for, 12 months plan or 24 months plan. They don't change every, once or twice every 6 months, right? But however, if you are, say, people who purchase identity online, right, and try to steal 1 month, 2 months of electricity, those people tend to change energy provider or plan every, 1 or 2 months. Why? Because as soon as the supplier realize that the customer is not paying the bill and cut them out, only way they can get electricity supplies by switching to another supplier. So we have a capability developed to detect how often is a household changing electricity supplier, and if you change more than twice or 6 months, it's a red flag. So that's the first product. The second product we developed is basically allow when customers switch energy plant, we allow supplier to get consumers' consent to get consumers' current suppliers' online My Account access. And that does a couple things, right? That does, number one, for the supplier which customer are switching on to, get a read on how many months has this customer been on the current energy supplier, right? If you are more than 6 months, that means this customer is real customers. And how often has customer late pay their bill, right? If the customer never late pay their bill, not only this is a real customer, this is a high quality, good credit customers. So those two products are developed, specifically targeting this fraud situation by providing a sensible solutions.
And beyond fraud prevention, what are some of the positive applications of AI in the energy space? How is it being used to personalize and improve customer experiences?
Yeah, sure. So I think that goes back completely to what I previously mentioned on the first question we had here, right? So as I mentioned, those big companies, they use AI to personalize experiences for their users, right? In energy, it goes pretty much similar. Using AI and data, we are able to create those experiences for the energy user consumer. So for example, we are now able to personalize the energy plan recommendations, right? We can use historical usage data, we can use real-time consumption, we can use weather patterns, and even the appliance behavior to provide a tailored energy plan for that user. So this means that users just aren't picking the lowest plan, but they are picking the right plan for their home, right plan for them. Another idea here would be the smart usage insights and forecasting, right? So we can now use machine learning models to help the consumer understand when and how they use energy the most. For example, usage alerts, right? Hey, you're already 50% out of your budget or how much energy you want to spend. Here's how much more you have left. Here's how you should be using energy. Maybe you should be turning off your AC when you leave home, or maybe you should be charging your car in another time, and so on. And I think the last one is the customer support, right, with the AI chatbots nowadays, and they kind of replace the virtual agents and all those calls that needed to be made during a specific time. AI is there now to handle, customer inquiries and support 24/7, and so forth. So I think those are a couple scenarios where the AI and data are helping in the energy sector.
Yeah. So to add what Isa just shared, I want to, basically articulate it same thing from a different perspective. If you look at entertainment experience, such Isa mentioned, right, like Netflix or Spotify, take Netflix for example. There are thousands of movie titles out there. And how do you know which movie that you want to watch on Friday night when you don't have a specific idea in mind? You ask Netflix to recommend a movie to you. The reason why they're able to do that is because Netflix has a big data, understanding thousands of movies, and based on your previous watch history, they are able to create that match. If you think about energy experience for a moment, as of now, there are about 9,000 energy plans out there. An average consumer don't want to spend more than 6 minutes a year to deal with energy. And you have a 9,000 energy plan and you don't want to spend more than 6 minutes. It is anxiety. It is frustration, right? So we basically bring about a similar experience that we are all used to now in entertainment, transportation, accommodation to energy, right? Our AI capability is able to scan internet in near real time to understand all the 9,000 energy plan structure. And we are also able to use machine learning as well as, large language model to determine your usage guesstimation and based on your prior use history. And we combine the two together to find you that personalized energy plan. It's almost like Uber for energy, if you will.
That's great. Thank you so much. So I think it really answers you nicely into potentially what you're going to be speaking about at Charge later this month, which is revolutionizing the customer experience through AI. So I know myself and I think some of our delegates will really find that workshop interesting. So for those listening, if you are in the Houston area and you want to come by, charge on the 29th of May, please do come to EIQ Digital's workshop. Yeah, looking forward to seeing everyone there.
Awesome, Natalie. We're very excited as well. Thank you so much.
You.